All right, hello everybody. KV Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here with you on this Thursday evening. A number of things I want to talk about with our extended forecast update tonight. Number one, I know it was dry today. We have a little bit of Saharan dust actually, which has moved in, and thank goodness this has given us the driest day we've had in a while. Still, Friday is going to be mainly dry, but we need to still be on guard this weekend. Not the same type of major flood risk like we had a couple days ago, but scattered heavy downpours could create some localized, mainly minor flooding, especially on Saturday. So we'll talk about that weekend rain chance. Then we also got an update to our drought monitor today. I'll show you that. And then also some more lake level updates that we want to get to. So let's start with this. This was our drought monitor 1 week ago. Obviously, that was before all of this incredibly heavy rain and the tragic flooding that we have unfortunately experienced over the past several days. Let's swipe forward, though. Well, first, actually, let's look at it. So Austin was in severe drought. Then you go into Gillespie County. Fredericksburg was in extreme drought, second highest level. Then southern Gillespie County down into the Kerrville area, top level exceptional drought. Okay, so now we factor in what happened over the past several days. And look at that. For most areas, it was about a 2-category drop in drought classification. In Austin, no longer in an official drought designation at all. This yellow is just the abnormally dry conditions. That's basically a precursor to drought. Then as you go from Buda down to San Marcos into Luling, that is moderate drought, so that's level 1. Then the highest drought classification that we have here in our area is still over southern Gillespie County, but that's severe drought. The cutoff for these maps, by the way, is Tuesday morning, so we've had some rain since then that even if it doesn't rain any this weekend, which is not the forecast, but even if it doesn't rain again, next week we'll probably see some additional improvement on the drought monitor. Okay, now over to the lake levels. Lake Travis continues to rise. So last night, yesterday evening, we had heavy rain in Llano County. That resulted in some more flood water going through the system, so they opened one floodgate at both Wirtz and Starkey dams and are passing that flood water down into Lake Travis now. Those floodgate operations have since concluded, but the water's still working down into Lake Travis. So the elevation now up to 660.78 feet. Lake Travis is now 70% full and has risen an incredible 23 feet over the past 7 days. Now, even with that rise, the difference from the typical July average, it's still about 5.63 feet below what is typical for this time of the year. And here in a moment, I'm going to show you some more graphs and we'll talk about full pool and all that. But those are the stats for Lake Travis. And then as you go upstream into Lake Buchanan, obviously this has been rising. A lot of this Lake Buchanan rise coming from floodwaters that went through the San Saba River, which dumps into the Colorado, then drops down into Lake Buchanan. So Lake Buchanan now is at 1,013.79 feet, is 85% full, and has risen about 11 feet over the past 7 days as these floodwaters have been pouring into the lake. The difference from average, look at this. So Lake Buchanan is actually 1.34 feet above the average for this time of the year. It's not the full pool, but it is above what's historically average for this part of the year, for July. So a few more updates I want to give you. So this is the trend with the elevation of Lake Travis over the past 7 days. And as we look at this, I've seen some people asking me questions. As we look at the elevation and you see numbers like 680, that does not mean that the depth of the lake would be 680 feet. It's the elevation. So we're looking at the elevation above sea level, right? So not like the depth of the water, but the elevation. So you can see obviously the 4th into the 5th, when we had that first wave of flood water from the Llano River come in. Then we also, that night is when we had the flash flood emergency with Cow Creek and Big Sandy Creek and Hamilton Creek and all of the tragic flooding in Travis County. So it was a sharp rise. Look, it went from 6'4", that was like 15 feet real quick. And then it's been more of a gradual rise. So again, you can see it, 23 feet the past 7 days. But even with that full pool for Lake Travis is at 681 feet. So even with this more than 20-foot rise, Lake Travis is 20.33 feet below full pool. And then with Lake Travis, also like to remind people, so considered full at 681, but Lake Travis has a built-in floodplain, flood pool, which is another 33 feet. So that could take it from 681 to as high as 714 feet. So Lake Travis, it has risen dramatically, but it is not to full pool. Then here's that same graph, but this time with Lake Buchanan, you can see it is closer. So It was a sharp rise as initially those floodwaters from the San Saba River came in, and then it's actually still been a little bit more of an aggressive rise the past couple of days as the Colorado River dumping into Lake Buchanan is still flowing pretty good here. So it has risen 10.92 feet past 7 days. Full pool for Lake Buchanan is 1,020 feet. So it's about 6 feet under what is considered full pool for Lake Buchanan. Okay, so today, sunny sky. That's been fantastic. Exactly what we need. Drying out, and of course, I mean, we have all sorts of cleanup and still recovery crews across the hill country and other parts of our area. So still hazy and mainly dry Friday. We have enough of that Saharan dust around that still rain chances are going to be pretty much zero tomorrow. I think I technically have a 10% of the forecast, but it's mainly going to be dry. Then storm chances will return this weekend. Not major flooding, but it's still something we need to be mindful of. Some localized flooding can't be ruled out, especially Saturday. The next week is exactly what we need. It's going to be an extended stretch this time. Several days where it's going to be just typical July weather. You know, in summers past, maybe we wouldn't be looking for that. But based on what's happened here the past couple of days, that's what we need. A long stretch of dry weather where they can continue to do the recovery and the cleanup efforts there. Okay, so Friday forecast for tomorrow, we'll have some patchy low clouds in the morning. Then as we go to the afternoon, it's going to be mostly to partly sunny. High temperature about 94s in the forecast. These are the numbers area wide. Low to mid 90s are in the forecast. Again, it's going to be hot tomorrow, don't get me wrong, but the average is 96. So even without the rain tomorrow, these numbers are a little cooler than the July average. Another thing that we've been talking about here at the station too, you remember back in May, we had those 2 triple-digit days, but then we went through all of June, no triple digits. We've made it this far into July, no triple digits. I have a 7-day with no triple digits, so we could go through we did go through all of June, and we are likely now to go at least into mid-July with no triple digits after hitting our first triple-digit days very early in May. And then we had this huge wet stretch in July. It's just been a very strange summer here in Central Texas. Closer look at the I-35 corridor, Austin Metro for your Friday, 92 Pflugerville, Laga Vista actually keep you in the 80s tomorrow, 92 for Lakeway, 93 San Marcos, mainly low to mid-90s across the metro. Heading into the weekend. Again, is everybody going to see rain over the weekend? Is everybody going to see flooding? Absolutely not. These are going to be scattered hit or miss storms, but especially on Saturday, maybe a little bit more numerous. In fact, I'll show you some of the data. Some of the data is coming in a little bit more aggressive. 40% chance for scattered showers and storms, a high of 92. Then on Sunday, a 30% chance for showers and storms, a high of 93. Let's go through the data now for Sunday. This is for Saturday. This is the morning on Saturday. We'll have just kind of the usual patchy low clouds, maybe a streamer shower or two, but I think mainly dry in the morning Saturday. The main rain chance Saturday is going to start as we get into the early afternoon, lunchtime into the early afternoon. So this is 1 o'clock. And as I mentioned, this data is, I've got a 40%. This model showed more than 40%. I do think it's still a little bit aggressive, but we'll see how the high-res data updates. So, 40 to 50% rain chance, 1 o'clock on Saturday. We go to 4 o'clock, and for some, it's completely dry. For others, you're getting grazed by like light rain showers, and then maybe for some, we have pockets of heavy rain that could drop a quick 1 to 3 inches and could cause some localized flooding. So that's 4. And as we keep going into 5 o'clock and heading into the evening, looks like things will wind down, and then we'll do kind of the same thing again on Sunday, just with a lower overall rain chance. This is the flood outlook for Saturday. Most of our area, Austin Metro, I-35 corridor east, it's a low end level 1, but for the hill country, again, these areas that do not need a single drop more of rain right now, it's a level 2 risk, so level 2 out of 4, slight risk for locally heavy rain, excessive rainfall across the hill country. Again, do I expect there to be another 20 inches of rain? Is this going to be like what we saw a couple days ago? No, but there could be some heavy downpours that if it's in the right spot, then maybe it could reinvigorate briefly some flooding concerns there. We know how saturated the ground is. And again, kind of like what we saw last night where a lot of areas, or yesterday evening, a lot of areas didn't get rain at all, but then we had some heavy rain that set up in Llano County, and then creeks and streams and rivers go up again, and we've got floodgate operations again. So that's the type of thing that we'll have to watch out for on Saturday. We just want to make sure we're aware, and obviously here at KVU we'll be watching that forecast very closely as we go through the weekend. Tonight it will be dry, mostly clear. Low clouds will develop late. We'll drop down to 75. Then tomorrow, I have just a 10% chance for a passing storm in the forecast. If we were to see one, it'd probably be Fayette County. No flood risk tomorrow. Hill country should be dry for you. 94, the afternoon high for your Friday. Then we go into those weekend rain chances. Again, could these numbers trend a little bit higher? maybe. We're going to have to watch that. 40% for now on Saturday. Sunday, a 30%. Highs will be in the low 90s. Saturday and Sunday, a little cooler with the rain around. And then this is what we need here for the cleanup and the recovery in the hill country. Days of dry weather. It's going to be hot. It's going to be July weather here in Central Texas, but no big rain chances, no rain chances at all. So Monday, 94. Tuesday, 95, and then Wednesday, average for this time of the year is 96. So that would get us up closer to average at 96 Wednesday. Then on Thursday, high temperature of 97. But again, another 7 days will roll on, and we do not expect triple-digit heat based on what we have in the forecast right now. So that is an update. Again, for everybody in the hill country or anywhere across our area that is dealing still with the devastating impacts of the flooding that we've seen over the past couple of days. Our thoughts, our prayers are with you. There's a lot of businesses around Central Texas who are doing programs today where they're going to be donating to flood relief, and we've got some of those programs here at KVUE, but I just want to let you know we're thinking about everybody, and we'll keep the updates coming as far as the forecast is concerned here at KVUE. So y'all have a good night. Next update from me is going to be about 3 hours from now. KVUE News at 10 o'clock. That will start right at 10. We'll see you then. Have a good night.